This program is brought to you in association with First National Bank of Botswana.
I am really delighted to be here this morning to be part of this momentous occasion where we mark the official opening of this magnificent factory plant, Strides of Success Paper Recycling and Manufacturing Plant, right here in Nkoya Phiri. It always excites me, truly, to witness the establishment of projects such as this one, which are aligned truly to the reset agenda, to the National Vision 2036, to the Africa We Want Agenda 2063, and to our global sustainable development goals, particularly that which speaks to environment and a clean air.
$83 billion. That is how much the global waste management sector is worth. And this figure is expected to grow by 5% by the year 2026. The waste management sector would include such services as waste collections, disposal, and the most important, waste recycling. While Botswana has always had waste collection and disposable services, there has not been a facility that converts waste to make recycled products to add to the astounding network of this industry. That is, until now. As a first of its kind, the Strides of Success recycling plant in Nkoya Phiri was set up to close this gap by recycling paper and pulp to make toilet paper, brown carry bags, wrapping paper, and other paper products. The aim is to eventually export recycled material to significantly contribute to the country's bid to be an export-led economy. At present, the plant has created about 200 full-time jobs with full-time employees and a further 250 indirect jobs. In future, there's a planned 60 million pula further investment into the project, which is expected to create more employment opportunities. Besides the obvious, what was the motivation behind setting up this plant? We talked to Managing Director at Strides of Success, Prakash Sharma, for more on the plant.
Mr. P, thank you so much for coming on First Issues and affording us your time. We are here today to talk about the Strides of Success Recycling, right, which is a recycling plant for paper. Tell us about it. What is it about, and what inspired this project?
Thank you for interviewing me and welcome to Strides of Success. The project was inspired in line with recycling of waste paper, and the shareholders and the promoters of the project had a vision of cleaning the environment, and one of the products that we could recycle was waste paper into the types of paper we're going to manufacture. So we basically take office waste, which is your office papers, school books, newspapers. We take all that kind of paper and we make it into tissue paper, which is then converted into toilet rolls and various tissue products like kitchen towels, tissue for industrial applications, and then converted and sold on to the final market. And that sort of paper is being imported into Botswana by the various people who make toilet paper and such products. So that was an inspiration that we could do it from locally collected resources. The other type of paper that we will manufacture is packaging paper, which is brown waste, mainly brown box waste, and we will make that into packaging paper to be reused in the packaging industry. So those are two types of paper that we will manufacture.
Let us now talk about the actual economic contribution of this plant. We're talking about the direct jobs, we're talking about indirect jobs, and how you see that playing in the bigger economy.
Jobs, obviously, the jobs we create will have a contribution to the economy because people will earn their wages and salaries and they will spend money, pay taxes. At the same time, it will support, I'm sure each job will support X number of people in the country. I don't know what the facts are, but that pay that they take back home, it will support family members. The other contribution we have is that we buy electricity locally. So that is a contribution. We buy water from water utilities. We buy coal locally. And we will, as time goes on, we will support a lot of other industries like small engineering companies, suppliers of spare parts to us that we will support. So we have there is definitely a direct economic impact from a resource that was never being used before.
You're talking about coal, and right now a hot topic is ESG initiatives. This might seem like an environmental friendly project, but what is your strategy for ESG looking like? Your contribution to the environment, the society within which you operate, and your governance structure? Yeah.
Unfortunately, at this stage, we can only use coal to produce steam. We are looking at some sort of a multi-fuel boiler where we can use garden waste or other materials that could be sourced locally. The economics of that we have to look at. We don't have gas as such, meaning piped gas in large quantities that we can use, or using solar energy is not possible to make steam. Coal is being used for production of steam. We can use electricity to make steam, but again, electricity is made from steam. So we're going back to the same source of energy. So we will have to find ways and means as we develop to replace coal to a more environmentally friendly source of energy. We have to develop a social structure. We are a young company and we have to develop a governance structure as well. But we would like to abide by the rules and the regulations of the country, and we will contribute whichever way we can in the upliftment of people socially as much as we can. Yeah. The fact that we will be training people, we will have initiative for scholarships and various other initiatives that we will develop to make sure that we have an impact on the social environment.
Before we started our interview earlier, you were talking about that most of the waste humans generate can actually be recycled, yes. Right? But it is still a pickle to recycle anything. Why is that? Even though we actually do have a shortage of resources to produce whatever material we need, be it paper or plastic, from scratch.
It goes back to how do you collect the product? Like I was explaining to you, in South Africa, they are at levels of 70% in most types of recycling, because recycling is done as the garbage goes into your dustbin. There are people who come and separate everything once a week and they take it, and they have a market for all those products. So there has to be some sort of initiative where either a center is built where all the household garbage goes and it's separated in what they call a materials recovery facility. So some initiative will have to be put into place.
Since this project had been a long time coming, what do your expansion plans look like, maybe in the medium or even long term? Right now you're operating only in Gaborone and surrounding areas. You're actually based in Ngwapire. So what are the expansion plans looking like?
The waste paper collection project we have initiated in Gaborone, and we want to duplicate the same into the various other centers around Botswana. And we had to obviously have a footprint and have the experience of what we are doing before we can expand that. But we have plans to move into various other areas, either directly or indirectly through subcontractors to generate the raw material that we need. That is definitely a plan, an initiative on the desk as we speak.
As a by-benefit, the setting up of this plant has led to scholars from the University of Botswana to take educational advantage of the facility, regarding it a well-needed resource in understanding how modern cities can be made smart, especially in the face of limited resources.
We are doing a course called Sustainable Cities and Environment, and we heard about this facility that it is doing recycling of waste paper. As you know, waste production is one of the challenges that is facing modern cities. As we are speaking to you now, we know the world population is around 8.2 billion. Around 55-57% of that population lives in urban areas, such as Gaborone. Similar trend in our own country. Maybe we are approximately about 70% now. I do not have the figures on waste production with me, but if we have a facility that can contribute to waste recycling, although it is just on paper, it is actually a major contribution. It is a contribution in the strive towards the creation of sustainable cities. When you have facilities like this, from a sustainable development point of view, you expect it to contribute maybe socially in terms of employment. We have been informed that this facility does contribute. At the moment, we are told at least about 50 people are estimated. Maybe towards the end of the year they have 150. But at the end, at full operation, 200 people employed. So I should think that is a contribution. Then we are also thinking about a contribution to the economy, to the economy of the country, to the economy of. So if you are able to do some of the things here and create employment, there is also an economic contribution. I can't, pin my hand on figures, on economic figures to say you are doing this much, and but if some of the materials that we are producing were able to keep here, there will be an economic contribution. And then the environmental side, I've already indicated earlier on some of the contributions that you get from like GHG emissions, and then the reduced energy that you use for recycling compared to when you are producing paper from the trees.